Hey, what's going on, fellas? How we doing, man? Antonelli here, answering questions for you guys today. Today's question was about umpires. What's the umpiring like in the minor leagues? What's it like in the major leagues? Is it better than, does it get better as you go up? Is it better than college or high school? And so I'm going to kind of get into a couple of stories I have on umpires and just overall, how good are they in my experience playing. So let's start off in the minor leagues. And I had just come from, playing baseball at Wake Forest in the ACC, which is, one of the better conferences in college baseball. And I thought the umpires, for the most part, were good, right? There's some umpires, I was somebody that I was probably a little bit, I don't know if cocky is the right word, but I walked a lot in college. I set the Wake Forest walks record when I was there, which I think has been broken by Alan Dykstra, I believe, since I left. Um, I guess a walk record, I shouldn't really be excited about a walk record. I just stand there. But, I always prided myself on having a good eye and swinging at good pitches. And so, I was someone in college that if I took a ball, I thought it was a ball. So if I took it and I didn't swing and the guy said strike, in my mind I said, that's a ball. I didn't swing at it. Not always the case. But anyways, umpires were pretty good in the ACC, right? There weren't tons of calls that I was pissed off about. Get to the minor leagues, right? Get sent to short season A ball in Eugene, Oregon. And I remember the first thing I thought was, wow, these umpires are terrible. Like, I noticed a difference between college umpiring and this umpiring. At least, again, maybe it was just, I had bad luck, whatever it is, but that's what I felt like. I remember I'd take a lot of balls that first year that were called strikes. I remember one time the ball literally, I swear it hit the dirt before the catcher caught it and he called it a strike on me. Um, and back then I didn't, I never really said anything to the umpires, but I remember I was pretty pissed. So, that first season I thought the umpiring was pretty bad. As I moved up, the umpiring definitely gets better. Um, I think Double A was probably the first spot I got to where I thought these umpires are like, it's pretty good. Like there's not that many bad calls going on behind the plate. In the field umpires, I don't think I ever really noticed anything that I was like, wow, these guys are bad. But it was more behind the plate early on. I thought the zone was probably a little bit too big. And listen, the zone is going to be bigger at the lower minor leagues, right? You have a lot of younger players. And so nobody expects the zone, you know. I'm not saying that they got to put it over a whole chunk of the white plate, but like when the ball is that far off the plate, it shouldn't be called a strike. Players are good enough to not, you shouldn't have to give a pitcher that pitch. And so, as you get older, as you move up, the players get better, the pitchers get better. By the time you get to AAA, you've got a lot of pitchers that pitch in the major leagues. And so the zone gets smaller and usually the calls get better and more consistent, for sure. When you go to the major leagues, the zone is, to me, at least in my short time there, was amazing for a hitter, right? And now you're dealing with pitchers that, again, if you gave a major league pitcher even a ball this far off the plate, it'd probably be impossible to hit because they can put the ball really where they want to. I'm not saying that they're pinpoint putting the ball exactly where they want to, but they are so much more advanced than most young guys in the minor leagues or college guys. To the point where I can vividly remember getting a pitch, multiple pitches, but one sticks out in my mind in a major league game where I took a pitch inside fastball and I took this thing, boom. And I stepped out thinking like, okay, 0-1. I stepped out and he goes, ball. And I was like, holy shit, how is that a ball? Like, this is amazing. I love the major leagues. Right? And unfortunately, I didn't hit at all. But the zone, literally, they had to put the ball on the white of the plate. There was really almost nothing off of that. And, that's different from almost any other league I'd ever played in, okay? I always thought the zone was too big, no matter the level, even when I got to AAA, right? Because I always, like I said, I was a guy that took a lot of pitches, walked a lot, and I wanted if it was over the plate, it could be a strike. If it was off the plate at all, I wanted it to be a ball. And so that was the first time where I was like, holy crap. I actually thought that ball was over the plate, and he called it a ball. This is amazing. But those umpires in the major leagues are, they are really, really good. And so, it's different. It's just different than the minor leagues when you get to the major leagues. Those guys are not messing around. Obviously, they've been around for a long time, and they're the best at what they do. Just like the players in the field are the best, the umpires are the best. Here's a story for a field umpire, and this is actually what I thought was the most amazing thing about umpires. And I still watch. I know a lot of people like will watch games like, how do you miss that call? You know, blah blah. Like, first of all, I think umpiring is super hard, right? When I was coaching in college, I had to be umpire my first year at Wake Forest when I was a student assistant coach. I had to be the umpire every fall ball game. I was the umpire. I called balls and strikes, and I called outs and safes on the bases. It's freaking hard, right? Like, I made so many bad calls. So if you're someone that's always complaining about the umpires, you should go try to be an umpire. It's very difficult. Anyways, back to the major league stuff. This impressed me the most about umpires, especially at the major league. So I'm playing in a game, and at the major league level, and guys stealing. And this is before instant replay. Let me just set that first. There was no instant replay when I played. So they throw the ball down the second. Our catcher throws the ball down the second, and the guy's stealing. And I catch this thing, and I put like a little bit of a sweep tag on him, right? And I miss him, but I come close. I did it the same way my whole career. Like, when I'm catching and tagging guys at second, I didn't always hit the guy in the leg, but you come close enough, put the glove up, boom, you're out. Okay, throw the ball around. I've done that my whole entire life. I think most guys have. So I catch this ball, I put the tag on, and I just miss this guy, but I don't hit him. I miss him. I put the glove up. Umpire goes, he's out. I go, okay. I throw the ball around. As I'm walking back to my position, the umpire starts walking over to me, and he kind of like crosses me as I'm going back to second. And he goes, don't ever effing do that again. Put the tag on him. And I was like walking back, and I was like, yes, sir. Walk back. I'd been up for like a week or so, and I was like, holy shit, how the hell did he know that I didn't tag him? Like, I never in my life had an umpire yell at me for not tagging a guy, because I always came it's not like the guy's leg is down here and I'm sweeping up here. Like, I'm putting that thing really fast, like right next to his leg. I might just brush his pants. Sometimes I hit him a lot of the times, but sometimes I just miss him. But I've never ever had an umpire be like, say if he missed the tag, because they're out by a lot, and it's close, like this far away. No one can see that when he's going fast and I'm swiping through there fast. And this guy was just like all over it. Don't ever effing. He didn't say effing. He said the real word, but I gotta watch out. I got young kids on here. Don't ever effing do that again. Put the tag on him. And I was like, holy shit, this guy's on top of things right here, man. He sees everything. And so that was my first experience with an umpire where I was like, these guys are freaking pretty good. And so, unfortunately, I wasn't in the major leagues long enough to see, a lot of that stuff. But like I said, they're really, really good. As far as umpires go and players complaining, I mean, there's always players that are yelling at umpires, right? And a lot of times you probably can't tell what they're saying. You don't really know what's going on. I get asked a lot, like, what's going on when the umpires are drawing back and forth and stuff. There's a lot of times where, again, depending on the level, when you're in the major leagues, you can talk to the umpires as long as you've probably been there for a little bit. Like, I wasn't going to come up in my first week and start like being like, hey, John, is that as far as you're going outside? That ball's off the plate. Like, I'm not going to say that to umpires. But depending on the level, you can talk to them and even like not yell at them, but there's guys that are pretty forceful with the umpires and they're not going to say anything, especially the older guys. Now, when you're at a younger level, you just got to kind of shut up, because if you say too much to the umpire, they may toss you. I noticed when you get to probably AAA, because there's a lot more older players, you can go back and forth with an umpire a little bit, as long as you don't say like you're terrible or something. Like if the ball's down and he calls strike 3 at you, you can be like, John, that ball's down. That ball's been down all day. And he's going to be like, no, Matt, that's a strike. No way, John. You can go back and forth and like say that stuff to them, and they're not going to do anything. If you don't shut up, they may be like, I've had enough. We're not talking anymore and you're out of here. Okay, fine. But you can like kind of jaw back and forth with the guy. You just can't be like, John, you suck. Once you say you something, you're probably going to get tossed, right? You can probably even say that call sucked, and you might not get tossed. But if you say you something, you're going to get thrown out. But there's a lot of times where either the catcher, I've been up there plenty of times where a catcher will catch a ball and he'll throw it back and start saying to the umpire, and they're kind of taught like, don't look at the umpire. Like you'll never see, or you shouldn't see a catcher like turn around and start yelling at a guy, because that's kind of considered showing up the umpire. But a lot of times you see the catcher just look straight ahead and he's talking, and he might be saying like, same thing with John, like, John, that ball's a strike, that ball's on the corner. And then he'll be like, nope, that ball's off. No way, John, that ball's been on the corner all day. Nope. And like that's going on, that kind of talking back and forth. Just nobody knows it's happening because the catcher literally is just looking straight ahead and he's just talking to the umpire, sometimes yelling at him. But if you do it that way, the umpire knows no one else can hear this except for me and the hitter, and so it doesn't really matter. And the same thing with hitters. As long as you're not going to take a pitch, boom, take it, and turn around and start yelling at him. If you do that, it's going to piss an umpire off. But if you're just kind of, you take the pitch and you don't like it, and you're just kind of getting out here, and you're just kind of, going through your pre-pitch routine, and you're talking to him, but you're not looking at him. Nobody in the ballpark has any idea that you're talking to him, and so then it's fine. The umpires don't care about that usually. And they're not going to toss you unless you use the "you" with something else that's not nice. So hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit with the umpiring situation. Thank you again for your questions. Keep sending your questions and I'll try to answer as many as I can. I'm only about 500 behind, but I'm doing my best to get there. Comment in the section below. Subscribe to the channel if you're not done so already. Give us a thumbs up. Like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys did that for us. Check out our Instagram, Antonelli Baseball, Twitter feed, Antonelli9. We're posting videos all the time for you guys. Check out our description box below where I put a bunch of links to books I've been reading and also training tools we use with our players. Check out our website, AntonelliBaseball.com, for more information on playing with our teams and working with us and all that good stuff. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much again for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.